Yes, that was caught on
Golden
camera.
bloopers, dude, for sure.
Oh, dude. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, welcome to an episode of Tag Along. I'm your host, Bilal Khan, and I have with us here Hasib Noor from Austin, Texas, but we're chilling here in SoCal. These waves are really nice.
Yeah, man, like we're sitting here in a tree where we could go swim. So, but anyway, it's cool. Alhamdulillah.
It's like SoCal is enough, not SoCal, but San Diego is enough to make a hippie out of anybody.
I mean, look at this tree, bro. It's so beautiful.
I know, right?
He literally was hugging a tree earlier. I was just like, all right.
It's I was not only hugging it, my first question was, is it real?
Yeah, subhanAllah. I mean, this place is so beautiful. That's why San Diego, I honestly think it's the best, I mean, natural and weather-like city in the U.S., hands down.
And it is quite a relief from Houston.
No comment.
I know you and I met back when?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Texas Dawah Convention 2004.
2004, yeah.
Yeah. And it's been quite a while. And then at Ilm Summit was it 2008?
Yeah.
That's when you mentioned you got into Medina University.
Yeah, it was actually at Ilm Summit I got the news.
You got the notice?
I remember it. It was 4 a.m. in the morning, and Abdullah, a good friend, was actually in the room when I read the email from Naved, who was actually a student at that time.
Oh yeah, Naved
And
Aziz.
may Allah bless him.
Yeah.
He's an instructor, like lives out in Canada, Calgary, right, representing. And
The land of Banff.
So mashallah, he was kind enough to read out the names on the list. And when he read my name, subhanAllah, and he had sent me the email,
Yeah.
I was getting my name checked because there was like a miscommunication in the names. And subhanAllah, I remember reading it was like 4:15 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And subhanAllah, it was just like one of the most beautiful experiences ever. And I don't know what to do. I was just like in shock, I had tears. And Abdullah's like, dude, make sajda. I was like, okay, all right. So we just, made sajda to Allah, thanking. It was at Ilm Summit, subhanAllah.
One thing I have not understood, and maybe you could clarify this for me, is what was the surprise about, hey, I got in?
Well, the thing is about Medina is there's so many thousands of applicants that apply. You really don't know. You don't get an acceptance letter.
Okay.
You don't even get a rejection letter.
So how do you know you get in?
Your name gets put on a list, and then people who are there read that list and send you the message.
So you could have gotten in, and if somebody didn't see that list,
at that time, no, yeah,
you would have
I wouldn't have known. And the funny thing is, I actually got accepted the previous year too, but they forgot to put my name on. I mean, it's just
That's
so it was one of those. It's one of those places. But now they've updated the whole system. They have online applications. They use technology. Yeah.
Wow.
So online applications, they actually tell you haven't been accepted, things like that. But back then it was, I mean, we're talking about almost 8 years ago. It was very different. So just having the ability to, get that acceptance confirmation is absolutely amazing.
Gotcha. Now, how long was it before you realizing that you got accepted till you actually packed up and left?
Well, it was that summer, right? So I didn't get up to leave until about, I would say, October, November.
Okay, so that year.
November, yeah, that year, yeah. It was just a few
Gotcha.
months, and we head out.
And now at that point, you'd done your studies in what?
Alhamdulillah, I was in pre-med,
Okay.
and I was actually getting my degree to go into nursing school. I wanted to go into medical school, and a doctor came up to me at work, and he's like, "Medicine's not for you." I'm like, "Why?" It's Dr. McCormick. We always used to talk at when we used to get work, and he's like, "You want to travel and you want to be able to learn and teach." I said, "Look at me. I'm 43 years old. My children are now, having fun with my money. They're actually, enjoying my money that I made."
Uh-huh.
He's like, "If you want to do that, this is not your field. Maybe you want to do something like critical care and nursing." And that's when he told me that. I was like, you know what, you're right. So my plan was actually to go into like critical care. I love the adrenaline of helping people and those kind of situations.
This guy was a little.
Yeah, I actually want to do a helicopter evac.
Okay.
Dive out of helicopters.
You
But
might
anyway,
as well join the Coast Guard.
Yeah. So alhamdulillah, that was basically the transition. My parents were very happy. They already knew that something I wanted. I was already interested in studying. So alhamdulillah, it was Allah's blessing. And one of the first things that was told to us when we came there was a tradition of actually Medina students.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful thing to say, especially for people who are seeking knowledge, to kind of keep them, at the ground.
Yeah.
Is that don't ever think that you deserve this.
Gotcha.
Know that you're somebody who needed this the most.
Okay.
So it was a very powerful way of saying, like, look, you're not special just because you came here.
Okay.
But in fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this blessing to you all. It always kept me like, my
don't
head on
take
my
it
head's
for
on-
granted.
Don't take it for granted. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a beautiful experience. I live there. I live in the city of the Prophet ﷺ now, and it's a place where when
Did
you leave,
ever imagine that you would be living there?
you know. Yes and no. I mean, in the sense of no, I would never have imagined that Allah chose for me to live there. But yes, in the sense of when I actually visited Medina for the first time, I realized it feels like home.
Okay.
It feels like home to I mean, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
You get the feeling you're not strange.
No, you know what's interesting? One of the, I don't know if bizarre is the right word, but I went to Hajj in 2006,
Right.
right? And Medina was the first stop.
Mashallah.
2 years prior to that, my grandfather had passed away,
Allah yarhamhu.
right? And so now the person to greet us, who was taking care of our logistics and things like that, is this Egyptian man, and he was like my grandfather's doppelganger.
Subhanallah.
And like my mom like looked at me, she's
Yeah.
like, and she's like, it looks
Yeah.
like Abba.
Yeah.
And she goes, and it was so cool because he also had the same demeanor,
Right.
and like almost like he just sounded the same too.
Subhanallah.
And like that for us was like especially now. Here's the interesting thing was like I didn't grow up with my grandfather. He was in India,
Right.
but my mom, as I was growing up, would always tell me her childhood stories about her parents
Right.
and her brothers and sisters and everything. It's just like for me, I felt like I grew up with them because she would always tell me the stories. And when I finally got to meet them, it's like, oh wow, meeting the characters of these stories, but they're actually real and they're my family.
Subhanallah.
And my grandfather is just like, yeah, this is your home too.
Yeah.
And this was
Wow.
in Medina. So
Wow.
to see somebody that resembled my grandfather,
Give you that kind of message.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's like a lot of different kinds of experiences like that.
Yeah, I mean, the craziest thing to me was running into like 4 of my friends. I didn't even know they were coming to Hajj in 4 different years.
Oh man.
One of them was like, we were walking into Masjid Quba and I run into my friends Haytham and Hisham.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you didn't even tell me we're coming. They're like, we're here with our mom. So that was, I mean, Allah brings people's hearts together in that city. And that's why I say Philly's not the city of brotherly love. Medina's the city of brotherly love. You know?
You didn't go there with a previously working knowledge of Arabic.
No. I just had pretty much reading the Quran.
Got it.
That's it.
And that took you how long?
2 years.
Is it standard? Everybody takes 2 years, or is it?
Some people, because they just need like a primer in Arabic.
Yeah.
They're already half studied Arabic. They usually do 1 year. But
Okay.
I needed the full 2 years.
Gotcha. And is that really enough to get you to the point where you can open up these texts and or did you kind of have to struggle through it?
Well, the university is pretty much just a part of studying and seeking knowledge. It's a very small part of it, actually. The vast majority of my studies was outside
Okay.
of the university in the Prophet ﷺ city and also in his masjid,
Yeah.
and even with scholars in their homes, etc.
Gotcha.
So once we got the keys of understanding Arabic, we had to go outside and actually seek deeper knowledge.
Gotcha. So this university wasn't like, look, it doesn't. This is not your source. This is just your.
This is just like almost giving like you the keys, even if that.
Okay.
It was
gotcha.
just like a means to the greater knowledge that was in the city of the Prophet ﷺ.
Who is it that you found your knowledge base with?
Well, the city of the Prophet ﷺ, as I tell my Azhari friends who, they have the Azhari legacy, right?
Yeah.
But I tell them the world's oldest Islamic learning institution is the city of the Prophet ﷺ.
Gotcha.
Is the Prophet's masjid.
Oh,
From
the
the
masjid. Oh, you know what? It's interesting you mentioned that because I remember they would always have halaqat going
Exactly.
on. Okay.
So from the time
But
of the
it's so
Prophet.
informal though.
Exactly. That's traditional knowledge. That's how Islam has been preserved from
Okay.
teacher to student all the way to the time of the Prophet ﷺ.
Gotcha.
So what we would study in circles with our teachers, or in circles in their homes, or
Okay.
in other masajid in the city of the Prophet.
Gotcha.
So that's how it started. We start with one teacher.
Yeah.
He's our like murabbi, our person who takes care of us, kind of spiritually as well as knowledge-wise, and we
The
move on.
thing that just took me aback and it was just fascinating was the fact that you would have all of these people
Mhm.
in these halaqas. Neither of them understand each other.
Yeah.
But that's fine because you're reciting Quran and you can
Yeah,
still correct you.
and that anyone can do that.
Yeah.
So anyone can be a student of the Prophet's masjid.
Yeah.
There's even amazing hadith narrated in Muslim Ahmad where the Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever comes to my masjid, who he either seeks knowledge or seeks to teach it,
Mhm.
or seeks any kind of good,
Yeah.
then God will give him the reward of a person who struggled in his path." So
Oh wow.
it's a great blessing to be in that masjid.
Specific to Masjid Nabawi.
Yeah.
Nice. Gotcha. Now you ended up graduating through what school?
Well, I'm
Or you're
finishing
not done
up.
yet?
Yeah, I'm finishing up this
Okay.
semester. So in the College of Sharia,
Okay.
it's College of Islamic Law, and I'll be staying in Medina, studying with the scholars there, finishing up fatwa and ifta and tafsir and studying my seerah as well with scholars there.
You know, one of the things I found very fascinating about you is that on Facebook, one of the things that you post commonly about is this history stuff.
Yeah.
And Islamic history, I mean, I take it that this is a passion that you kind of found.
Yeah, hands down.
Hands down.
Hands down.
And what led you to it?
Just when you're in Medina, you connect with our legacy in a very real way.
Okay.
In a very I can feel and touch and taste Islam.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be on Uhud. I'll be in Masjid al-Nabawi. I can be in the Rawda.
Yeah.
I can pray and put my head on the same place where the Prophet prayed.
Gotcha.
That's amazing.
So it was just the fact that this history was tangible to you.
Exactly. So I thought, you know what? Our entire legacy and tradition is tangible that way.
Gotcha.
It's just about us finding out how.
Now, what are some of the challenges that you found? And because I know earlier we were talking, and maybe you can share with us again. You were talking about how a lot of times people try to explain Islam,
Right.
right? But then when you like, listen, don't try to explain it, but let me have you experience it.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things that I have difficulty with is a lot of times when people have difficulty understanding an aspect of Islam, they're looking for answers which they don't necessarily need. It's about experiencing that particular aspect of Islam, which will give you an experiential understanding. Once you feel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has that role in your life through this experience, it may answer more of your questions than that one question that you had.
What has been your greatest experience? Like, if you were to pick one moment that really stands out to you in your time there.
I mean, there's so many, obviously, but there's 3 or 4 that just stick out. One of them was when we finished Sunan al-Tirmidhi with our teacher, and there was a great scholar who actually is from the Indian-Pakistan region, who actually came as a scholar to visit to teach the book, and we read the book to him, cover to cover. And at the end of it, the scholar makes dua, and we say Ameen. And at the end of it, a student came and told our teacher, Sheikh Hamid, he was like, I had a dream. And he told the teacher the dream. The dream was he saw the Prophet ﷺ in his dream. And there was a huge vase full of milk. And it was filled to the top. And he said he took the cover and he put it on top.
On top of the vase.
On top of the vase. And he said, لا تفتحوا قبل أوانه. Which means that don't open it before it's time. And our teacher looked at us and he said that this is a lesson for all of us. He said because he saw all of the students and our teacher around this vase. He said that this vase and what's in it is knowledge. He says don't open this and give it to people until your time.
I don't understand, like, whose time? Like, I don't.
What our teacher meant, and what he explained after that is that knowledge is given at its appropriate time. So don't go and seek to give it to people until it's your time, until you have matured, until you've understood the tradition,
gotcha.
Until you've understood knowledge in its proper context. Don't go out and try to spread it and give it out, at beyond your level. So that was something that stuck out to me.
Don't talk about things you don't know.
Basically, very simple way to say it. Don't talk about things you don't know. Go, give the message of Islam. Don't talk about things you don't know.
It was funny because we just went through 21 different videos. Not 20, we did 15 videos. And he's trying to get all like expansive and explaining things.
Exactly.
I was like, no, man. It's just like point 1, 2, 3, done.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So basically, that's what one thing that stood out to me a lot. And I mean, there's so many others.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, man.
It's
a pleasure to have you on board. I'm really excited to do some of the stuff that you got on in terms of planning with AlMaghrib, as well as the stuff that you're doing.
Inshallah,
and I think I found I didn't know that. Well, I mean, I came to learn this about you in terms of your passion for history, although from a different angle. Like, I've got my own angle, just from a marketing propaganda standpoint, and this economics interest. But it's just the fact that it's interesting because the points and the things that we're sharing is like there's benefit to each other. It was an honor.
Alhamdulillah. May Allah accept it and grant us sincerity.
I mean, man. I apologize for this being really dark.
It's beautiful from here.
Oh man, it is wonderful from here.
Picture of the sunset.
Yeah, you know what? Let me turn this around for you guys, just so you guys can get an appropriate view. That is. Hey, you wanna kind of give them a tour?
So this is La Jolla Shores. Such a beautiful, like, obviously, family-oriented beach, and it's beautiful, nice to come here at sunrise and sunset, kind of reflect. And he was like, or hug trees like Bilal does. This beautiful tree.
Yes, it's like, look at this, man. I mean, you can't see the magnificence of it, but it is wonderful. It is amazing. Oh my God, the breeze.
Yep. Alhamdulillah, man.
But yeah, that's the sunset. We could just totally just chill and watch that, guys. Guys, I'll leave you with this. Enjoy, and assalamu alaikum.